what is the control and coordination, what is the plant movement? Yes, control and coordination takes place in both plant as well as, first I want to make you understand what exactly this topic is about. Look, first when we talk about the humans or animals, so in animals, their body is controlled and coordinated by two things. First thing, there is a control of, so how our body is controlled? It's controlled with the help of brain have a special kind of the cells. Then we call those cells, what do we call those cells? What do we call those cells?
Neurons.
Very good. So we have a special kind of cells, what we call those cells are called neurons, right? So you have neural control and rather than neuron, we call it neural control and coordination, right? So neural control and coordination takes place in our body. So when our body is controlled with the help of the brain, we call it neural control, right? So neurons are a special kind of the cells, and we'll discuss in detail. We'll discuss the structure of the neuron. Even this is in your syllabus. I can see that neurons are there in your syllabus. We'll study these neurons, structure of neurons in detail. But in the same time, that is called a nervous system, right? Or rather than we call neural system. So neural control, for example, our body is controlled with the help of brain. So when brain control our body, we call it neural control, right? So suppose that we have to take water, we have to study, we have to do whatever we want to do. We want to do programming, we want to do something we want to write something, or we have some creativity, we want to draw something, right? In all these activity, our brain participates. Along with that, one more kind of the things which control our body. What is that? That is the hormones, right? So we have a special kind of the chemical in our body. Those are called hormones. They also control our body. How? Suppose that temperature, the room where you are sitting, the temperature goes down drastically and you are feeling shivering. So why you are feeling shivering? When temperature will go down, body will try to produce more and more heat and try to protect the heat present in the body. For this, it will release some hormones or some sort of the chemical, which are called hormones. These hormones will flow across our body with the help of blood, right? When this hormone spread across our body, what will happen? The pores which are present in our outer surface, they will just close down, and other kind of the activities like the shivering. Shivering is also the process of production of the heat. So that's how it is controlled by what? It is controlled by chemical, right? So second kind of the thing, that is called chemical control. Chemical control. So chemical control takes place in animal body. We are just taking the example of human, but I am talking about the every animal, either irrespective of that, is it human, dog, cow, whatever this is, camel, right? So when we talk about the chemical control, then we talk about the hormones, right? So animal body is controlled by two things. What? Neural control and chemical control. Both of them work with the coordination of each other, right? In coordination. That's why this chapter is called control and coordination. Now, talk about the plant. Plants are also biological object. They have life, but plants are not that much developed as much as the animals. So plant do not have neurons, neural cell, or brain kind of the thing. So how the body of the plant is controlled? They are just controlled by, they have just one kind of the control, that is called chemical coordination, right? Chemical coordination, or rather than chemical coordination, you can call chemical control as well, right? Means their body is controlled by only and only hormones, right? So they have hormonal control, right? So that is the control and coordination in plant. Clear? So what we call plant
Yes.
hormone? What we call plant hormone? There we have a special term for plant hormone. We call them phyto. Phyto means plant, phyto hormone. So plant body is controlled by phytohormones, right? So it is plant body is controlled by phytohormones. Clear? Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you give the example of any plant like plant hormone control or the function of plant hormone? How we can justify this thing that phytohormones are responsible for controlling the plant? Look, have you seen the sunflower? Sunflower. Okay. Whenever you see the sunflower, either in morning or in daytime or in evening time, every time we call it sunflower because every time it takes it put its face in the direction of sun only. That's why it is called sunflower, right? So there is a special type of the hormone which is found in the sun plant, or it is produced in sun plant. What this hormone does, so it always keep this hormone, it always keep the face of sunflower towards. So this hormone, the name of this hormone is auxin. So what auxin does, auxin always keeps the plant or help the plant to move in the direction of light, right? So that's how this is an example of phytohormone. That's how the movement takes place. Now we'll study what is the plant movement, of how, what kind of the plant movement, right? How many type of the plant movements are there, right? First, please note it down, whatever is visible in your whiteboard. Abdullah, is it clear? Abdullah and Hamna, is it clear? Keep on telling me that it's clear or not. This was just basic understanding which I was making for you. Then I'll let you jot it down. Please write it down. Then please let me know. And I would like to first please note it down. Then I would like to introduce one more term. I would like to ask you one more term. Done? Done? Note it down, Martin?
Noted, sir.
Okay, fine. So one more term which I want to know from your end. Anybody of you, can you tell me what is stimuli? What is stimuli? Or you can call it stimulus? What is stimuli or stimulus?
The response,
Sorry.
response to something.
Very good, very good. You're near to answer. Good, good. You know what is the stimuli? Suppose that we are touching any hot object. So we just pulled our hand. So we felt the heat. So heat is a type of stimulus, right? Suppose that we just very strong light is falling on our face. We closes down our eyes or we put the hand like this way, right? This is that sunlight is a stimuli, right? And what is the response? We closes down our eyes, right? And we have taken ice cubes in our hand, and we are feeling like we are shivering and we are feeling very cold, like it's our hand, our blood is freezing. Yes. Then the cold which we feel, that is called stimuli. So stimulus is singular term and stimuli is plural term, right? And one more thing, it is not necessary that stimuli always comes in contact with you, right? Sometime what happens, you are sitting somewhere and you are trying to approach something or you're doing something and your father is gazing you, right? And he just steered you and you stopped. You came to know that whatever you are doing, your father is not happy with that, right? So that is, he did not said any to you, and what you did, you responded to that. That is also type of a stimulus. So it is not necessary that stimulus always that thing which comes close to you or physically you feel that, right? Sometimes this is not physical as well, right? So stimuli, you can write it down, please. Put a heading, stimulus. Any kind of physical or chemical change, any kind of physical or chemical change against which, any kind of physical or chemical change against which organism respond, any kind of physical or chemical change against which organism respond is called stimulus, right? Number of stimulus means when there is more than one stimulus, we call it stimuli. Number of stimulus collectively called, number of stimulus collectively called stimuli. Next point, in plant control and coordination, in plant control and coordination is not highly developed. Control and coordination is not highly developed as in animal, because plant do not have because plant do not have nervous system, because plant do not have nervous system, full stop. However, plant respond to however plant respond to external stimuli. However, plant respond to external stimuli like light, comma, touch, comma, gravitational force, and other stimuli. Now one more thing. What is the difference between movement and locomotion? That is one more thing. Movement and locomotion. You must have listened this term in class 9th as well. Movement and locomotion. Tell me, Amna, what is movement and what is the difference between movement and locomotion? Martin, you can tell. Movement and locomotion. Tell me.
Yes, sir.
What is difference between movement and locomotion?
Movement means like moving fully of body. Locomotion means like movement of
Movement of
muscle.
look. When any object or any organism is changing its place, right? It's traveling distance, right? Means it is shifting from one point to another. We call it locomotion. But movement, when an organism is like I'm sitting over here and I'm moving here and there, I'm like blinking my eyes, right? Like my mouth movement is there. So this is movement, but I'm not going anywhere. Means displacement is not there. So when any object, when any organism is not changing its place, but it's changing its position, right? Like I'm not changing my place, but I'm changing my position. We call it movement. Locomotion, when an organism travel from one point to another. So normally locomotion do not take place in the term of plant, but yes, movement do take place in plant, right? Plant is moving here and there, that is called movement, right? So movement do take place in plant. There. So that is the difference between the movement and locomotion. So plant move, do not locomote, right? Now let's talk about the plant movement, right? So how does the movement takes place in plant? What is the type of movement? So yes, now there are two kind of the movement, right? So let's talk about the movement. So let's put the heading plant movement. Plant movement. And we have already discussed that plant movement do take place with the help of what? It do takes place with the help of hormones, phytohormones, right? So please start noting them. The movement in plant is not as apparent. The movement in plant is not as apparent as in case of animal. Full stop.
The movement of plant is not apparent.
Apparent as in case of animal. As in case of animal. Full stop. Broadly, plant shows two different type of induced movement, right? So there are two kind of the movement in plant. What are those kind of movement? Try to understand. The first kind of movement, that is called nastic movement. Nastic movement. What is nastic movement? That is, first thing, this movement is independent of growth. This movement is independent of growth. Means it have nothing to do with the growth, right? It have nothing to do with the growth. That is called independent of. Second important thing, direction of movement is not fixed. Direction of movement is not fixed. What is example? For example, there is a plant, we call it touch me not. Do you know this plant? Touch me not. And scientifically, we call this plant Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica. So this plant shows nastic movement. Can anybody tell me what is this plant? Have you seen that plant? Very common plant. Hamna and Morden, have you
Oh,
seen?
yes, I see.
You have seen. Okay. So you must have seen whenever you touch the leaves of this plant, the leaves closes down, right? So first thing that the closing down, the closing leaf closes down, direction not fixed. Second thing, it have nothing to do with the growth. So we call this kind of the movement is nastic movement, right? So this is the nastic movement. Second movement, they are called tropic movement or tropism. So second one is they are called tropic movement. What are the tropic movement? So these movement takes place due to growth. Movement takes place due to growth. First thing, due to growth. Second thing, direction of movement is fixed. Direction of movement is fixed. For example, like movement of plant towards light. Plant always move towards light. So that is also a kind of growth. And another thing that the direction is fixed towards the light, means direction is fixed, right? So these kind of, so whenever any plant moves towards the light in the direction of the light, what we call that movement, we'll study that movement in detail. We call that movement phototropic movement. Phototropic movement. Photo means light, tropic means in direction, and movement means movement. So movement in the direction of light, what is called phototropic movement. Is it clear to both of you? Nastic and tropic movement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please note it down. Then I'll explain you. Then we'll start with the nastic movement. Let me know when you note it down.
Oh, sir, what is written there? Movement taken place due to growth, right?
Movement take place due to growth. Amna, are you getting all point? Let me know when you complete it. Done, Shizu?
Yeah, done, sir.
Okay. Amna, done? Put the heading. That is first. Now we'll study the type of nastic movement. Right. So first, put the heading nastic movement. This was just outline which I want to make you understand. So first, please put the heading nastic movement. Nastic movement. Please start writing. The movement of a plant part, the movement of plant part in response to external stimulus, such as in response to external stimulus such as light, temperature, or contact, in which direction of movement in which direction of movement is not determined by in which direction of movement is not determined by direction of stimulus. Direction of movement is not determined by direction of stimulus. These kind of movement are called nastic movement. They may be of following type. Now the first point. So first, please try to understand. Then please load it. Then I'll make use of it. Right. The first one is that is a seismonastic movement. Nastic move. Sometime you will get a point. This is also called thigmonastic movement. Both thigmo and sysmo, both word mean touch. Thigmonastic movement. So either you call it sysmonastic or you call it thigmonastic. Both are the same thing. Sysmonastic movement or thigmonastic. Right. So just if any movement takes place due to touch, that is called. So for sake of example, I have given you an example of Mimosa pudica. So mimosa, you can write it on mimosa, or in general term, layman term, we call this plant touch me not. Touch me not. When any movement takes place due to touch, right? Then that is called, if any movement or if any undirectional movement or if any nastic movement takes place due to touch, that is called thigmonastic or sysmonastic movement. In the same way, you can feel that whenever a wine plant, whenever that is wine plant, it gets any support, it start like rolling down here and there. And the same thing you must have seen about the money plant. Have you seen that? Wine plant, pea plant, or money plant, creepers, whenever they get any support, they just start climbing in that support. This is called, so when they come in the touch with any support, right, they start moving with that thing. That is called thigmonastic movement. Is it clear? Thigmonastic movement. Amna, please tell me.
Sir,
Amna, please message me. Are you getting it? Oh, great. So please write it down. Please first, please write it down the example: mimosa or touch me not plant. The movement that occur, the movement that occur in response to, the movement that occur in response to touch are called sysmonastic movement. These are, let's talk, these are quick movement. Example,
repeat from beginning.
these are quick movement. Example, mimosa pudica.
Sir, can you repeat?
Complete this statement.
Can you repeat from beginning?
Okay, the movement that occur in response to touch, the movement that occur in response to touch are called sysmonastic movement.
Sysmonastic, right?
Sysmonastic or thigmonastic, both are the same thing. Whatever you want, you can say. And the best example is mimosa pudica. Right? The second kind of the nastic movement, second type of the nastic movement, that is nyctinastic movement. Nyctinastic movement. Any movement that takes place due to change of day and night. Can you give me the example? The movement which takes place due to change in day and night.
Sunlight,
Sorry?
sunlight.
Sunlight. The movement. Any movement which takes place due to change of daylight or due to change in sunlight. Presence of sunlight, absence of sunlight. Means due to which the movement which takes place due to day and night. Come on.
It's called what?
Sometime you must have seen when the light comes, the flower open, and when light goes down, the flower closes down. Have you seen that thing or not? Right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Many of the plant, like they open their flower at the presence of light. When light goes, they close down their flower. This is also a type of movement which takes place due to day and night, and this is called nectinastic movement. Right? Please note it down. The movement that the movement that involve changes in day and night. The movement that involve changes in day and night. The movement that involve changes in day and night. These are called nictinastic. These are called nictinastic or sleep movement. Sleep movement. Full stop. Nictinastic movement are of nictinastic movement are of two types. First, so now further nictinastic movement are of two types. First one is photonastic movement. Is put in photonastic movement. Photo means light, nasting means direction, and movement is movement, right? So I have given the example that opening and closing of that flower. So that is a photonastic movement that takes place due to light, right? So when a sun comes, the flower open, and sun goes down, goes back, then flower closes down. So this kind of the movement, the nystinastic movement, it takes place due to light. So that's why we call it photonastic movement. So please note it down. They are caused by the light stimulus, but they are caused by the light stimulus, but they are non-directional movement, but they are non-directional movement.
So can you repeat?
They are caused due to light stimulus. They are caused due to light stimulant, but they are non-directional movement. We call them photonastic movement. Example, some of the flower open up in morning. Some of the flower open up in morning in bright light and closes at evening and closes at evening when it is dark. So that is called photonastic movement. The second one nastic movement or nictinastic movement, that is called thermonastic movement. Thermo means heat. Thermonastic movement. When light comes or day comes, the temperature becomes higher. When day goes back, like sun goes back or sun sets, then the temperature becomes low, right? So this is the variation in temperature also takes place due to sun, right? So the movement which takes place due to temperature, they are called thermonastic movement, right? So please note it down. The diurnal variation, diurnal means day and night. The diurnal variation, diurnal means day and night. The diurnal variation in the position of diurnal variation in the position of plant part are caused by change in temperature of surrounding, such non-directional movement are called thermonastic movement. For example, flower of tulip flowers, right? Flower of tulip open at high temperature. Flower of tulip open at high temperature and closes at low temperature. So nastic movement are basically of two kinds, seismonastic and nictinastic. Seismonastic, that causes due to touch. Nictinastic, that causes due to change in day and night. Nictinastic movement can be of two types, photonastic movement and thermonastic movement. Photonastic movement, that is due to light, and thermonastic movement, that is due to temperature, right? So this is all about the nastic movement. So did you got all point? And if you have any confusion, please let me know, both of you, Martin, Shizo and Hamna, please tell me, is that clear or not? Hamna, please message me. And Martin, you also tell me, please. Okay, great, Hamna. What about you, Martin? Did you got all point? Or if you have any confusion? What happened, Martin? You're not audible to me.
Yes, sir.
So is it all clear, or if you have, or you have any?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear, crystal clear. Okay. So put the heading, that is the tropic movement. In next class, we will discuss in tropic movement, right? We'll start with the tropic movement. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Amna. Martin. So bye-bye. This is time to say bye-bye. And next class, let's meet on the next class and we'll carry on.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Bye-bye. Good night. Bye, Amna.